Okay, when I see problems like this, I'm pretty happy because I know this is just looking for a simplified expression, which means some basic algebra. So if you can remember how to add fractions together, you're off to a good start. We have two fractions here, and don't worry that they have square roots in the denominator. I know it looks ugly, but what we're really dealing with here is just two denominators that are not equal to each other. So we're going to have to find a way to make them equal to each other, and I'm going to take a little diversion and talk about 1/2 plus 1/3. And if you remember with this, we have to make common denominators. So with 1/2 plus 1/3, what I'm going to do is multiply the right by 2 over 2 and the left by 3 over 3. And what that gets me is 3/6 plus 2/6. And if you ask how many sixths do you have, you get, 5 over 6. We're going to do something similar now, but we're doing it with radicals instead. It's not much more difficult. I'm going to take 4 over radical 5 plus 8 over radical 7. And the question is, what does it take to get a common denominator? You don't need a least common denominator. Any common denominator will do. So I'm just going to multiply the right side by the left denominator and the left side by the right denominator. Okay, so what I get here is 4 times radical 7 over radical. And now you have to remember how radicals multiply together. One radical times another radical is just the radical of the two numbers times each other. 7 times 5 is 35. And now over here we have 8 times radical 5 over, again, radical 35. And then we add these two together. We ask, how many numbers do we have over radical 35? It's a common denominator, radical 35 on bottom. And what we have on top is 4 radical 7 plus 8 radical 5. You don't actually simplify much on the top. You can't, because these radicals are different. And although they multiply together just fine, adding is a whole different ball of wax. You cannot combine radicals together when you're adding them up. They would have to be exactly the same. Like, as a digression, 2 radical 5 plus 3 radical 5. That's okay. They're both radical 5, so that would be 5 radical 5s. But when the radicand, this is the radicand right here, this number in here, when that's different, you cannot go combining those things together. So we just have to leave it in this form, even though that doesn't look very satisfying. And here's our answer. No, that's a tricky one. Where's our answer? Right here. Okay, over radical 35.